So we know that menopause stress is a huge issue. It can cause so many other things. It has this kind of knock-on effect. But one of the things that's very common, but is sometimes not connected, is that stress, long-term or ongoing stress, can be a big factor in weight gain. And we know in the perimenopause and menopause that stress and weight gain often go hand in hand. So today I'm going to look at the ways stress can impact on your weight and what you can do to help yourself. So the 4 things that we can look at, number 1 is flight or fight. We know all about that. In times gone by, flight or fight was there to help protect us and save our lives. If there was danger somewhere, our nervous system would kick in. It would make us want to either fight or run or save ourselves in some way. Problem is today that with all the hormonal changes going on, with day-to-day stress in our daily life, that flight or fight gets stuck. So basically it's primed to jump in at the slightest little thing. You know, you may have found that you can't find your car keys and you think you're going to be late for work, which normally you would go, oh, they'll be somewhere. Suddenly just the thought of you can't find your car keys, your heart starts pounding and you go into a full panic mode. So that's basically just the flight or fight kicking in here. What happens for the second reason, what happens is that when flight or fight kicks in, it does several things physiologically. So it makes us breathe a lot faster. It makes the heart race because it's wanting to pump blood to your legs and your arms in case you want to run or fight. It wants to get blood to the brain so that you can think faster. But one of the things it also does is it switches off your digestion. So there you are at the point where you've got half digested food sitting in the gut, sitting in the stomach, which can cause problems. That can cause bloating, it can cause wind, it can cause constipation. Because it's been sitting, you're not going to get the best absorption. So you're possibly losing nutrients if this happens on a daily basis. So it's not a good situation to be in anyway. Number 3, what happens when the flight or fight kicks in? One of the things it does afterwards for trying to relax the body, because flight or fight in its natural setting is very short-lived, because you either escape or you don't. So the body then produces something called cortisol, and cortisol makes you hungry. It makes you crave sweet things, comforting things, high-calorie foods. So here we are in a situation where the flight or fight is kicking in just about every day. Cortisol is in the body practically the whole time. So of course, we get the cravings. We want to eat a lot. We want to eat all the time. We want these comfort foods. And obviously that is then going to put the weight on. What happens too is that the flight or fight, in order to save energy or save you from the next episode, one of the things that happens is that all the carbohydrates, or a lot of the carbohydrates and sugary foods that you eat, get turned straight to fat, and they get put around the middle, because your body thinks this is the best place to put the fat when you need it for emergency situations. But we never get there. So the weight starts to pile on further and further around the middle. Eventually, our nervous system can get really worn down. It can create something called adrenal fatigue. That will then affect our sleep, because you can be what's called tired and wired. You can be really tired, but your nerves are all jangly. You can't relax, you can't sleep. And we also know that poor sleep contributes to weight gain. So you can end up in this vicious cycle of stress, weight gain, poor sleep, weight gain, and food cravings. And it's a very difficult situation to actually get out of. And the normal methods of cutting calories and going on a low-fat diet don't work in this situation, which I'll explain later. So in this situation, what do you want to do? So the first thing to do is reduce the stress. And I know that is so much easier said than done these days. We live busy lives, we're in stressful situations, and it really is difficult to reduce the stress. I know so many techniques, and even for me sometimes I find it really difficult just to switch off and relax. But it's doing things like yoga. I just find yoga helps so much for me. It can be guided meditations, it could be mindfulness, just that 30 minutes a day. YouTube is great for all these. There's loads of super apps you can get now that will give you mindfulness and meditations as well. You can also practice something called mindful eating. So it makes you more aware and more in control of what you're eating, just to help sort of calorie wise. It's about prioritizing sleep. And again, I know this is a really difficult one. If you're all a jangle, if you're busy, if there's lots of things on your mind, it's quite difficult sometimes to fall asleep. But we need about 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. And in the perimenopause and menopause, it's even more vital to allow our bodies to rest, rebuild, and recuperate from all the hormonal changes that are going on. You can look at herbs to help with sleep, such as lemon balm. We have that in our Sleep Well granules. And there's also a combination of herbs such as valerian and hops, which are in our dormiezan. So identify the triggers sometimes can be quite easy to do. I mean, you just need to look at, right, what's stressing me out today? Is it work? Is it people at work? Is it family life? Are you doing too much? Are you still carrying everybody and everyone else is sitting watching the telly while you run ragged? Look at things like relationships. Are you multitasking? Are you trying to do absolutely everything? Are you just feeling totally overwhelmed? And, that's a situation where sometimes you can't do anything because you just feel so overwhelmed by everything. So you can look at herbal helpers for reducing stress. Valerian and hops is really good for mild anxiety. And you've also got herbs such as Avena sativa and passion flower. Eat aware, as I mentioned before. What triggers are causing you to eat more? Are you unhappy? Do you feel that, somebody's made you so annoyed you want to comfort eat? Do you feel so tired that all you can think of is having a couple of chocolate biscuits and a big cup of coffee? So there are certain triggers that very often, if you just take a minute to sit down and think about, that trigger it, and then you can control these much better as well. Other really important thing is stay hydrated. Very often hunger is actually us being thirsty. So every time you feel you want to go for that snack or chocolate biscuit or bag of crisps or whatever, take a little drink of plain water and see if that makes a difference, because it may well be all your body's wanting is just a little bit of water. Fill yourself up with protein foods and fiber, a little bit of healthy fats as well. These things will keep your blood sugar level for longer, and you'll be less likely to crave sugar cravings. If you have a serious sugar craving, there's also a supplement called Chromium, which can be very, very helpful just to add into your daily diet. Loads of lean meats or protein of some kind. If you're vegetarian or vegan, you need lots of protein as your hormones change over the years. Avoid drastic diets. So I talked a little bit about this before, about what not to do diet-wise. If you cut calories, your body thinks there's a famine. And in flight or fight situations, all that's going to happen is your body is going to turn down your metabolism. So it's going to work even slower than normal. If you reduce your fat content in your diet, again, the body thinks there's something serious going on. It will reduce your metabolism as well. If you try and exercise like mad, the body thinks that there's an energy shortage going on. You're expending enough energy as it is. It will reduce your metabolism even further. So low calorie diet, low fat diets, and lots of exercise in this situation is going to put even more stress on your body and is possibly going to contribute to the weight gain as well. So it's really important to be aware of how you diet at this particular point. So I hope you found this one helpful. Stress is a big part of our daily lives now. There's absolutely no way of getting away from it. And I know it's something that, everybody I speak to is stressed in some way or another. So doing the best you can to keep on top of it is going to be helpful for your weight and also a lot of other menopause symptoms as well. If you've had issues with this, how did you cope with it? What was the best diet you found? I love to read your stories. Keep them coming because they help other people as well. And I love to read them. Take care and have a lovely week.